We've already encountered numerous explanations from the developer, alongside a plethora of theories crafted by fans and the rapidly growing Sprunki fandom. Despite all this, I'd like to present a rather unconventional perspective on what might have truly occurred in Sprunki. By now, most of us are familiar with the basic storyline, which only began to take shape after the release of the Incredibox Sprunki mod. Of course, we're aware of Wenda's notorious actions, yes, the infamous bite, and the swirling rumors suggesting that Owackix might be the true culprit. At the same time, many fans are quick to accuse Derpel, whose strange and unsettling behavior has made him a prime suspect. Let's not overlook the fact that Derpel seems to have completely lost his sanity, adding fuel to the speculation surrounding him. But when it comes to the deeper question, who is truly behind it all? Could it be Black, or perhaps an entirely different figure, someone operating from the shadows to orchestrate these events? Could Black himself have been summoned, his presence part of a larger, more sinister plot? Once again, I need to stress that this is an unusual and somewhat speculative theory. Instead, his cryptic comments have only served to deepen the mystery, leaving fans to grapple with even more questions than before. Which brings us to the next critical point. Who, if anyone, summoned Black, and what motivated Wenda to commit such a horrific act against her kin? Could the mysterious Gray be involved somehow? The challenge here is that Gray is a character tied to a different mod and exists in an alternate universe entirely, which complicates the theory even further. Yet the possibility remains tantalizing, as this opens the door to multiversal connections we might not have anticipated. Let's take a closer look at the storyline itself to uncover who the hidden antagonist might be and how they managed to avoid detection for so long. When I mentioned the possibility of one character summoning another, I wasn't exaggerating. There are several reasons to consider this idea. For example, take Jevin, who has been officially identified as a cultist. But what does that actually imply? On the surface, it might seem like little more than a fascinating tidbit about his backstory. However, some recent revelations shed light on why Jevin managed to survive. Interestingly enough, it turns out that Black simply forgot to kill him during the game's events. This oversight alone adds an intriguing twist, but it doesn't end there. To me, it feels as though the developer approached the creation of this game with a healthy dose of humor, which brings us to another fascinating possibility. Black might actually be the second killer. While the developer may have unintentionally let this information slip, it's also possible it was a deliberate move designed to convince us once and for all that Black is the true villain. In hindsight, there have been numerous clues pointing in this direction all along. However, instead of spelling it out, the developer chose to leave us with a trail of breadcrumbs, forcing us to piece together the bigger picture on our own. This layered approach to storytelling leaves us wondering if there's more to Jevin's survival than mere chance. Was it truly an oversight, or could it be connected to his cultist background in ways we've yet to fully understand? Moreover, if Black is indeed the second killer, what was the first killer's role, and how might their actions intertwine? The plot thickens as we dig deeper into the details, challenging us to rethink everything we thought we knew. It's officially confirmed that Jevin is uninvolved in the killings, but how does his obsession with the occult tie into Black's presence? It seems far too deliberate that Jevin was designed as a cultist. A fascinating theory, or perhaps just a rumor, proposes that Black isn't merely another Sprunki character but a true demon. His abilities as the Hatmaker reinforce this idea, especially considering his capacity to shapeshift to the point of being utterly unrecognizable. Historically, demons don't appear without cause. Either they are summoned, or the land they manifest in is plagued by a terrible curse. Since no curse has been mentioned in the story so far, the summoning theory feels much more plausible. This naturally circles back to Jevin, our enigmatic cultist. Could he have been the one responsible for summoning Black? There are subtle clues, such as the close proximity of their icons, that suggest a potential connection. If true, this spins an intricate web of implications. Black as a demon, summoned by Jevin, whether intentionally or not. However, this theory conflicts with a crucial detail. According to the developer, Jevin is portrayed as a pure-hearted character, someone with an exceptionally kind and gentle nature. It's hard to imagine such a person willingly summoning a demon, so why would Jevin of all characters dabble in summoning rituals? This contradiction leads to interesting possibilities. Perhaps Jevin's goals were entirely benign. It's possible he sought to perform a harmless ritual, maybe to summon rain during a drought, but inadvertently called forth something far more malevolent. Demons, after all, are often associated with unintended consequences in folklore. If Jevin truly summoned Black, it could have been the tragic result of a misunderstood ritual or an accident stemming from his eccentric activities. This would explain why Jevin, despite being a cultist, remains firmly on the side of good. Yet this raises another puzzling question. If Jevin is blameless and good-hearted, why did Black spare his life when he spared no one else? The developer's statement that Black simply forgot to kill Jevin feels too whimsical to be the whole truth. Could there be something deeper at play, a lingering connection between summoner and summoned that prevented Black from harming Jevin? Or was there a greater purpose to Black's actions that remains hidden? Ultimately, Jevin's cultist status and Black's demonic nature remain tantalizing mysteries. If Jevin truly summoned Black, it may have been a moment of unintended chaos, one that even he did not fully comprehend. Whether their fates are linked by design or coincidence, one thing is clear. Their relationship holds the key to understanding this dark and twisted story. Was it truly an accident, or did Black deliberately spare Jevin? If we lean into the theory that Jevin, as a cultist, summoned Black, it makes sense that Black might have spared him intentionally. After all, Jevin would be the one who freed him, potentially becoming his master, or at the very least someone Black had no reason to harm. However, Black's manipulative tendencies suggest that even if he spared Jevin, it wasn't out of loyalty. Instead, it could indicate a calculated decision, keeping Jevin alive as a pawn for his own ends. This dynamic could become pivotal as the story unfolds, especially if Jevin realizes his potential to banish Black. Regarding Funbot, the story gets a bit more contradictory. Initially, it's suggested that Black forgot about him too. Later, it's mentioned that Funbot's status as a robot makes him essentially immortal. However, I think the simplest explanation is that Funbot wasn't interesting enough to warrant attention. Both the killers and Black seem to view him as entirely harmless. Supporting this, there's information that even if Funbot had a gun, he wouldn't use it, highlighting his peaceful nature. And after all, he's just a robot. If Funbot were truly invincible, we'd see some evidence, scratches, dents, or cracks, but there are none. His appearance is pristine, which strongly suggests he was simply overlooked. Similarly, the killers appeared to forget about him as well. For example, consider Wenda. While she's known for her fondness for knives, her first confirmed victim was actually shot with a gun. There's also the suspicious Lime, or OWAC-X. He escaped from an asylum and was hit on the head with a hammer by Ratty, whose death is notably strange and unpleasant. So, what happened to the rest of the characters? Some were clearly targeted but survived, while others were injured by the killers. At the same time, certain characters appear completely untouched, almost as if Black and the killers forgot about them. According to the developer, Black does control the killers who carry out his dirty work, allowing him to remain in the background. He can also turn others into monsters, which might explain why some Sprunki characters appear as grotesque creatures. However, this power could be a double-edged sword. It might weaken him over time, leading to his apparent memory lapses. And who is the true villain here? Share your thoughts in the comments below.